Worldbuilding. It is the process of creating a detailed and plausible fictional world for a story, novel, game, or other form of media, especially in science fiction and fantasy genres. One of the most well-known forms of worldbuilding in the medium of games is Elden Ring. But what makes Elden Ring so interesting, and why should people care? Well, one of the most interesting aspects about Elden Ring regarding worldbuilding is how it encourages players to create their own personalized understanding of the game's world through a multitude of world-building methods. As the game relies heavily on indirect storytelling, it's completely possible for players to go through the entire game and know almost nothing about the story, or also know every single detail about it. Paying a close attention to the environmental hints and design, piecing together dialogue from NPCs as well as game mechanics and item descriptions, allows players to construct their own understandings of the world. In this way, no two players will have the same experience of the story as the other. This game doesn't insist on one single canonical reading, rather having players go through the map on their own, creating their own personalized experiences. This is what makes Elden Ring such a unique case study in how video games allow for a more deeply individualized world-building experience. Well, others should pay attention to this because it highlights the potential for world-building in games. Unlike literature or film, games offer agency to players and mechanical feedback, which creates a multi-sensory form of storytelling. What separates games from other mediums is also how the player's choices, actions, and levels of curiosity directly affect or shape their understanding of the world. Especially in the current era where games are becoming more and more complex, while also becoming more culturally significant, understanding how world-building in games can work, specifically in Elden Ring, can show how games as a medium can deliver immersive methods of storytelling. Well, Elden Ring specifically is worth studying closely as a primary source because it is widely regarded by many critics as one of the greatest games ever made, winning countless rewards for its meticulous design. For instance, it has received numerous Game of the Year awards and is frequently regarded as one of the most immersive and intricately constructed open-world experiences in gaming history, which can be found on Metacritic and IGN. As Elden Ring brings players to actively interpret and piece together Elden Ring's story through exploration, its value in closely studying can be revealed. As most works that include world-building that are well known usually include mediums of literature or films, Elden Ring prioritizes authorship and narrative control, which isn't present in those traditional forms of storytelling. Closely studying Elden Ring can allow more individuals to realize the potential that video games have for world-building, focusing on the key interactivity and offering insights into how games can offer new meaning to world-building that other mediums cannot offer. In regards to the current scholarly landscape, scholars including Mark Hines, Florence Smith Nicholas, Michael Cook, Don Ford, Rendell Pasternak, and Marco Caracciolo, they discuss world-building from points of view that focus on combat, movement, exploration, Campbellian heroism, nostalgia, forums, fan theories, democratic instability, political power structure, mythology, and ludology. The perspective I plan to focus on to contribute to the scholarly landscape is by focusing on the game mechanics, while also incorporating environmental storytelling, NPC dialogue, and player agency, and their influences on world-building when blended with the game's mechanics. Overall, as games blend in a wide array of literary techniques from both film and literature, it's worth noting the potential that games have for world-building by studying Elden Ring as a primary source.